Chapter 49. Hot as hell. A crazed smile crossed Miss Swine's face. It now looked like she was going in for the kill. But as she violently swung her cattle prod up to zap Grandpa this time, she lost her balance on her high heels. Maitland toppled backwards into the flames, screaming, "Ah!" Jack rushed forward and dragged his poor grandfather from the path of the inferno. Their only way out of the building was the front door, and that was now blocked by the blaze. As the boy had already discovered, the back door of the Twilight Towers had been bricked up, and there were bars on all the windows. The place was a death trap. Thick black smoke was now billowing along the corridor. It was rapidly becoming as hot as hell. Jack took a deep breath. He needed to find some way out of Twilight Towers, and fast. Now he had two elderly people in his care. His grandfather, who had been knocked out, and a posh old lady who was rapidly getting on his nerves. Holding Grandpa's ankles under his arms, he pulled him to where Mrs. Trifle was waiting a safe distance from the flames. "Well, I must say," began the old lady, "this place has really gone off." "Will you help me?" pleaded the boy. "Take a leg." For once, Mrs. Trifle did what she was told. "May I inquire as to where we are going?" "Anywhere, away from the fire," yelled the boy. Together they dragged the old man along the corridor and up the huge flight of stairs. It was hard going, and poor Grandpa's head bumped on each step. Bump, bump, bump. "Oh, oh, oh," he murmured at regular intervals. The upside was, it was waking the old man up, and by the time they'd reached the first floor, he'd opened his eyes again. "Are you all right, sir?" asked the boy as he bent down over him. "Yes, just a nasty bump on my head. Next time I try and save the Commandant, please stop me." "Will do, sir," replied Jack, taking off his nurse's uniform to reveal his own clothes underneath. "Excuse me," said Mrs. Trifle, tapping the boy on the shoulder. "How do you propose we get out of this dreadful place?" "I don't know yet," snapped the boy. In his mind he flicked through all the rooms in Twilight Towers he had been when he first climbed up the drain pipe a few nights ago. Suddenly Jack had an idea so crazy that it might just work. "Sir, do you still have the roller skates I gave you the other night?" Yes," replied Grandpa, as he rose to his feet, ripping off his own nurse's uniform. Can you get them?" asked the boy urgently. Yes, of course. They're in my dormitory. I hid them there in my mattress." "Then grab them right away, sir. And the string. And you know where the Commandant's office is?" "Of course, Squadron Leader. There's some top secret Nazi documents piled up on the desk. Take everything in sight. Then meet us in the room at the end of the landing," Jack said, pointing to it. "Roger that." As Grandpa dashed off down the landing, Mrs. Trifle looked at the boy in astonishment. "Child, this isn't the time to go skate." It was as if she was about to say skateboarding, and Roy realised she had gone wrong. She'd gone wrong mid-word. Roller skating, corrected the boy. "That's what I said." "Humph," said the lady. "No, I have a better idea. Follow me." Jack ushered Mrs. Trifle, along the landing to the last door at the end. Just as the boy had remembered, this was the spookiest room of all in Twilight Towers, the room of coffins. "Oh my goodness," the old lady gasped in shock at the sight of rows and rows of wooden boxes. "I always suspected that all the awful matron and her ghastly nurses were doing was waiting for us to die. I know I'm old, but there's life in this old girl yet." The boy shut the door behind him to keep the smoke out, and then approached Mrs. Trifle. Her eyes were glazed with tears, and Jack rested a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We're going to get out of here, Mrs. Trifle. I promise you," whispered the boy. The door swung open. It was Grandpa, proudly holding the roller skates, a ball of string, and a pile of the wills from Maitland's office. The old man saluted, and the boy saluted back. Over his grandson's shoulder, Grandpa spied the coffins for the first time. "For goodness sake, man, what on earth are we doing in here?" he thundered. Jack gathered his thoughts for a moment. "Raj told me the only way out of Twilight Towers was in a coffin." I I don't follow, replied the old lady. Spit it out, man, said Grandpa. Well, I think he was right. That's how we're going to get out of here, in one of those. Chapter 50, Cough Boggin. This is preposterous, announced Mrs. Trifle. With respect, madam, I think the squadron leader is onto something, replied Grandpa. Thank you, sir, said the boy. If we're lucky, a high-speed coffin could protect us from the flames for just long enough. We just need to find the largest one, fasten the roller skates to the bottom of it with the string. Mrs. Trifle harumphed. She was quite a harumpher, but joined in the search. Working as a team, the three had soon found the largest coffin. Then, as fast as they could, they tied the roller skates to the underside of the string. Next, the three lifted the coffin off its stand and placed it on the floor. Jack rolled it to and fro, and Grandpa smiled. He had taught the young boy well. This was quite a brilliant plan. As soon as Jack opened the door, he could feel the intense heat from the fire. Thick black smoke was now billowing everywhere. In haste, the three wheeled the coffin out onto the landing. When they reached the stairs, they saw a huge wall of flames at the bottom, waiting to swallow them up. They were running out of time, fast. Mrs. Trifle, began Jack. Yes, dear. You lie down in here first, please. Oh, this is most undignified, she complained, but she did what she was told and clambered into the contraption. Jack kept the heavy lid under his arm, then gave the order. Right wing, Commander, full throttle, please. Roger, replied Grandpa. The two unlikely heroes ran alongside this coffin on wheels, gathering as much speed as they could. It was as if the coffin was a toboggan. A coffin toboggan. A cough boggin. As they were about to reach the top of the stairs, the pair leapt in behind Mrs. Trifle. Jack first, then Grandpa. The old lady shrieked as the cough boggers thumped down the stairs at speed. Ah! Bonk, bonk, bonk. Heading straight into the mouth of the inferno, Jack pulled the lid in place over them and held it tight. Inside the cough boggin, it was now pitch black, as he bumped and banged, first down the stairs, then along the downstairs corridors. The three felt a sudden surge of intense heat. It was hot, hot, hot. For a moment, it was as if there were 3 joints of meat roasting in an oven. Then, crash! The cough boggin smashed straight through the front door. Boom! Jack's plan had worked like a dream. Yes! All of a sudden, the sound of the wheels rolling on the ground changed. The crunching noise meant they were now trundling along the gravel path outside. They'd made it. The cough boggin ground to an abrupt halt. The boy pushed the lid off. Immediately he noticed the once brown coffin was now completely black with soot. Jack leapt out, before helping his grandfather and finally Miss Trifle up. The front gates of Twilight Towers were still shut, so the boy ushered the elderly player across the lawn in the direction of the overhanging willow tree. He helped the 2 old folks first and then climbed up himself. Standing on the tree's branches, Jack and his grandfather looked back at Twilight Towers for one last time. They had escaped not a moment too soon. The entire building was being devoured by the fire. Flames shot out of the exploding windows, licking the outside walls. Even the roof now was ablaze. Just before they turned to go, Jack said, "Congratulations, sir. You did it." Grandpa looked down at his grandson. No, we did it. In the distance, Jack could see all the nurses fleeing across the fields. As for Miss Swine, she was absolutely nowhere to be seen. Had she remained trapped in the burning building, or had she somehow escaped? Something told Jack that they had not seen the last of her.